Hi, this is Mrs. Nelson. We're looking at Unit 8, Lesson 15, Quartiles and Interquartile Range. The objective says, when given a list of data values or a dot plot, I can find the quartiles for the data. Well, if we look at the word quartiles, we can see the word quart inside of that, and we know that quart comes from a root which means 4. So we're looking today at a way to split the data into 4 equal parts. It says here are the ages of 20 people at the same party shown in order from least to greatest. So the people at the party range from age 7 to 42. Letter A says find and label the 4 quartiles representing the 25th, 50th, 75th, and 100th percentiles. Well, 100% of the data would be all of the data, so I'm going to first start by indicating that 100th percentile would be at the very end of our data. And then we're going to take that data and we're going to just cut it in half. We're going to fold it in half and find that halfway point. You can see that here. And if we fold it in half again, then you'll see that we split the data into 4 equal parts. Well, we've got our 100th percentile. Now we can look to that middle. The middle is going to represent the 50th percentile. Half of the data is lower than that point, and half of the data is higher than that point. And then we can go ahead and label what the middle of our data is. And the middle of our data is right smack dab in between 2 data points of 20, so the middle of our data is 20. We can look right there at the 25th percentile, again representing that 25% of the data is to the left and 75% of the data is to the right of that particular point. You can see that falls right in between 10 and 11. So if I marked the 25th percentile as 10, that would be too low, and 11, that would be too high. So I have to find the number right smack dab in the middle, and that's 10.5. And then our other quartile is our 75th percentile. And that means that 75% of the data is to the left of that point and 25% of the data is to the right of that point. Again, that point falls right in between 2 data points, 28 and 30. So I have to find that value right smack dab in the middle, which is 29. So the 75th percentile is 29 with this data set. The next part says add Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4 as corresponding labels, and that would stand for quartile 1, quartile 2, quartile 3, and quartile 4. And I'm just going to label those in order from left to right, looking at my 4 quartiles that I've marked with the percentile values. So there's Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Q2 is the middle and is also called the median. We're going to add that label as well. So far, that middle value of 20 can be called Q2 or quartile 2, 50th percentile, or the median. Lots of language here. Letter C says Q1 is also called the lower quartile since it's in the lower end of the data. Add that label. So again, lots of language here. I could call that 10.5, that value of 10.5 in our data set, as the lower quartile, the 25th percentile, Q1 or quartile 1. And then we also have Q3, which can be called the upper quartile because it's in the upper end of the data. We don't really, even though we call it quartiles and we can split the data into 4 equal parts, we don't actually label Q4. We don't say this is the 4th quartile or the 100th percentile because it seems silly to talk about all of the data. We want to split it into quartiles so that we can talk about a portion of the data at a time. So we're going to actually remove those labels. Again, our objective says when given a list of data values or a dot plot, I can find the quartiles for the data. So I just split the data into 4 equal parts and showed those markers of quartile 1, quartile 2, and quartile 3 so that we can talk about important values within our data set. Thank you for watching.